Mobility Monday. Oh my gosh, let's get it on. So make sure you have your foam roller near, okay? So we're gonna start. I always have to look because I'm about as tall as that, and make sure you can see me, okay? Okay, so let's start with setting the feet in this anchored position. So anchored position, you can always see the stripes on my mat, means that we're gonna square off the outside of your feet. So before you do that, you're probably gonna look down and see them not squared out. And here in Colorado, I can just say, pretend you're on your skis, because most of my clients do spend time on skis, whether it be skate skis or downhill skis. So, or in your pedals. So if you don't ski, just remember that most of us are going to set up our pedals on our bicycles with our feet pretty straight. So squaring up the outsides of your feet, ensure that your hips are in internal rotation or neutral. And that, we just want to be able to move around that foot position. Okay, so let's just set the feet up. I want you barefoot for sure, unless you're somewhere where you just can't be barefoot. And I want you to go ahead and just shift forward and back. So we've got squared off feet, and we're just going to shift the nose just in front of the toes and then back. That loads the forefoot. So we're just going to shift and then back, and then shift and then back. So a shift is a word to use just to move things a little bit in a certain plane. So we can have a forward and back shift or a sagittal shift. We can also have a lateral shift. Okay, so we just got a nice sagittal shift. Keep your eyes up, no longer need to look down. Load the toes, load the forefoot. Just that little bit of shift. Okay, good, keep that going. Little bit of shift. We're upregulating the nervous system on the posterior chain, on the back line of the body. Not everything has to be a big movement, right, to get a big result. So just that really subtle shift, forward and back. Now, I want you to shift your hips laterally. Keep your feet right where they are. Don't lose connection with the ground with the big toe, either one of them. And we're just going to shift. Now, I want you to keep your head straight. So as your hips go to the right, your left shoulder is going to just dip. And as your hips go to the left, your right shoulder is going to dip. So we're just letting the spine stay as straight as possible. Feet stay in connection with the ground. And now we are loading and upregulating the lateral line of the body through that TFL, through the IT band, a little bit through the inner thigh and the adductor, just a nice easy shift. Good, just lateral shift. Okay, let's do forward and back again. This time, we're going to shift and tip. So we're going to shift, and then we're going to hinge and come back. Okay, so there's a forward shift, and then a hinge with the hips. So shift forward onto the forefoot, then push the hips back. And you want to kind of keep the weight right in the middle of your foot. So this will shift it to the front of the foot. That will push the weight, not on the heels. We want it right evenly distributed between the toes and the heels, and come right back. So we're going to work the hip hinge, all right? We'll add a little counterbalance with the hands to the front. So hands to the front, hips to the back, get the weight up on your toes so that your toes are loaded, and come right back. So leave the toes loaded. How we load the feet, that's pretty important. Okay, toes are loaded, hips are back behind the heels. And we start to reach with the hands, which is lengthening the lats, which is tugging through that low fascia on the low back. So just push the hips back, hands to the front. Looks a lot like a founder from foundation training, right? Good. Don't load up the heels. All the weight is right down the middle of the foot. Toes are connected to the ground. We're going to go 5 more of those. You should start feeling that in your hamstrings and your glutes. Just a little bit. Toes are on the ground. Chest is open. 3, 2 more. 4, and 1 more. And 5. That's such an important position. And as you add the counterbalance of the hands to the front, it upregulates the nervous system on the posterior chain or the back line of the body. All right, so now we're just going to shift side to side just like we did, but we're going to add a counterbalance as well. So this is not a hip hinge. We're just shifting, right? So we shift left, reach with the right hand. You get a little bit more load on that TFL. TFL is right up high in the hip. Nice and easy. Hip shift and just add that counterbalance. Whoa. Feet stay connected to the ground. All the big toes connected to the ground. These are the little things that really come together and add up when it comes to performance. The only reason to do this kind of stuff is you want to do the stuff that you love doing. Whether it's golf or running or triathlon or cycling, you've got to have this body that can move. All right, from right there, let's go ahead and step to the side. Make sure those feet are staying squared off. So when you land, we're just starting to add a little bit more tension and movement into the inner thigh. Nice and easy. Good. I had to be on an airplane yesterday. I don't think my body is as exhausted as if I had done a triathlon this weekend, right? But I feel so tight. Oh, I've also upped my training a little bit, so had a very good run on Saturday, and maybe that's why I'm tight, but I think running on Saturday and then traveling on Sunday, bad combination. Good, side to side, and good. All right, let's stay nice and wide. Out of that wide stance, square up the feet. Fingertips to the front, so palms to the front, push the hips back, come right back up. So from here, we want to move as one piece through the upper body, so this is definitely a hip hinge. Push the hips back, get the fingertips to the ground. 2, if you need to go a little wider, that brings the ground a little closer. 3, 4, toes on the ground. 5, 6, we got 10 of these. 7, just nice rhythmic movement. We don't want to bounce per se, but we're not worried if we're moving and we're not moving slowly. It's okay, we're just warming up. Good. All right, shake that out. We're going to reach as high as we can. Square off the feet again. Square up the outsides of the feet. You're going to reach as high as you can with the hands. I can't quite reach my ceiling. And then just a little bit of loading the front line. So there's a shift backwards and the hips go forward just a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is reach up. Right there, a little bit. We don't need more than that. So if some is good, more is better, not better. Arms up as high as you can get them. Now, my guess is, and I can't see you, but my guess is some of y'all have bent elbows. So just because I'm a little bit tall for my camera, probably even, when you're standing, if your arms cannot extend, thumbs to the back, elbows straight, we know there's tightness in the lats. Most people have tightness in the lats. So we're going to go ahead and deal with that. Let's go down into a full kneeling position. So 2 knees on the ground. We'll take the feet ever so slightly outside of the knees to put the hips into that internal rotation. We're going to take one arm up, straight elbow, long through the underarm area. We're going to shift and reach. So you probably are getting a lot more tension because we're taking away some of that lower body movement by putting you into full kneeling. We're going to reach up. You get tension through the obliques, through the belly, through the lat, and we're just going to tilt to the side. 2, 3, 4, we got 10. There might be a little bit of hip shift, but from the full kneeling position, probably not too much, which allows us to really focus on the T-spine. Okay, other side, big inhale, ribs are way off the hips, side bend. 2, 3, arm is straight. 4, 5, 6, we got 10, 7, you can feel that all the way down into the obliques. 8, 9, and 10. We're going to do that one more side. This is also, if you know what a QL is, you have had back pain, because the only reason to know what a QL is if you've had to figure out the anatomy in your back and what's happening. QL attaches the ribs and the hips, but it's really there as a stabilizer. So if you're feeling it here, we know we have lots of work to do on getting the hips functioning better. Because the only reason you usually know what a QL is because if your hips aren't functioning, your lower back is overworking. And then it's just not built to do things. You know, it's like trying to race a Camry against a BMW. We want your body to function like a race car, a little bit more like a BMW. Let's go one more time on the other side. Nice big reach, pull the ribs off the hips, 10 reaches. 2, side bend. 3, long through here. 4, so who knew that tight lats could inhibit glute activation and function? Well, I'll tell you, it's a big part of the problem. So if you're only training, your lower body for lower body focused activities, you're missing out on what's perhaps causing the biggest problem. Okay, so let's get on the foam roller, working through that upper back. Pull your sacrum low, so you're kind of pulling it away. Flatten your sacrum to the ground, and we want the foam roller directly under, like distal from your head, to under your shoulder blades. So your shoulder blades can move freely. Foam roller is right underneath. Support your head, and we're just going to work through that thoracic spine. We've got 10 dynamic movements here. 3, long through your low spine. 4, 5, and just moving through that upper back. 6, 7, 8, 9, I can't help myself. One more, and 10. Okay, let's go right onto the foam roller. So you're going to sit on the foam roller. Sometimes that's enough. Like if you did a triathlon yesterday, chances are very good that just sitting on the foam roller, you're getting a little bit of information from your glutes that they worked. I mean, I promise you, no matter how much opportunity is there, and just kind of shuttle through your hips here as we're talking, but there's no doubt that no matter how little glute function you have glute function. Can it be better in most people? Absolutely. So we want to make sure that we just keep bringing more and more muscles to the party. Okay, so let's just left side, work through the lateral part of that glute, butt, left butt, just like a massage. We're not trying to do any crazy tissue release or anything like that. We're just working to get fluid and encourage more fluid, because that's usually more healing, into that group of muscles. Okay, so just using the foam roller like a little massage therapist. There you go, but for free, and just work through that glute. Okay, same thing, other side. Right hand unloading some of your body weight and just working through the glute. Get some fluid into that hip. So I'll use all kinds of words, right? We'll use butt, we'll use glute, we'll use hips. I don't usually break it down too much into glute med, glute max, glute min, piriformis. There's all kinds of muscles in there working together, hopefully. But the region, if we can get the region more mobile, then we'll have a better chance of strengthening it. Okay, just both legs, mid belly of the calf. Again, we want to just shake through that, just a little bit of lateral movement, and we're looking for fluid into the area, so hydrate the tissue. You can see I'm just slowly pushing the foam roller away from my hips towards the ankles. And as I even look down at my feet, I can see this left side is just really lax. And this is the side I broke most recently. So it's got much more movement. This one's a little bit tighter. So they're even sitting different. Haven't noticed that before. I think that's probably a little bit of the response to the uptick in running. But it also, I work a lot on lower leg mobility and strength. Go ahead and just pump the gas pedal here through your feet. One, then the other. Nice rhythm and timing. And good. All right, let's take it down onto the half kneeling position. So we've got some good full body mobility. And then we worked in through just trying to release the posterior chain using the foam roller. And now we're just going to spend a little bit of time in that half kneeling position. So this is midnight. I want you to take that left side to about 10:30. And the first thing I want you to do is use the heel of your hand, maybe even two hands, to create some heat through the quad. Go on the inside through that VMO, that little muscle right there. I wish I had bigger muscles, then you'd really be able to see it. But they work pretty good. Okay, right there. And then work through the outside with the heel of the hand, just getting a little bit of heat. And then right through the top, right through that quad tendon. Okay, then let's just go ahead and hit the other side. So this is a little bit easier than laying on the foam roller. So we're just gonna heat up the quad, the skin, the fascia. Don't underestimate this. You're gonna get good heat here. A little bit of friction through the skin, that even helps. Right through that quad tendon, heel of the hand. Right through the VMO, heel of the hand. And right through that IT band, heel of the hand. And then all of it. Okay, good. Let's go back to the first side. And from right there, we're just going to push the knee over the toe. Keep the upper body not turned towards the knee. So we're just going to keep the upper body nice and square. And this is going out to the side. A little bit of an adductor tugging there. Working through the lower leg and ankle. We want that knee to be able to go way over the toe. Keep the chest nice and tall. Good. And good. That should help that SI joint in the back. Also, okay, same thing other side. Knee way over the toe. Control it. Just feel that little bit of inner thigh tugging. Good. And we want that knee way over the toe. You're going to get a good calf stretch there. And keeping the heel on the ground. And just nice and easy. Good. And good. Ooh, a little tighter on the right. So right side, left side, you know, it's very difficult to get them even 50-50. We're going to try, but it's important to recognize there's nothing wrong. We just want to keep bringing it closer and closer. So if you're tighter on the right, just pay attention to that. It might foam roll that later. Okay, so now knee was out at 45. It's going to be straight out. Okay, we're right at midnight. We're going to go knee over toe right here, and then big reach up. Good. We're going to go 10 of those. 2, 3. Get space between the ribs and the hips. 4, 5, 6. Should be getting a little more tension in this capsule. The back hip capsule. 8. I think that might have been 9. This is probably 10, but let's do one more. And good, okay? So we just want to open up the front line of the body, the front fascial line. Muscles do not work in isolation. This is not a bodybuilding mindset. This is a performance mindset. So we have to open up the entire front line of the body. That includes the psoas muscle. That includes that big muscle in the quad, the rectus femoris. That includes the abdominal muscles. That includes the chest muscles. And it even includes this neck muscle, right? So right here, we're trying to open up this entire fascial line. The muscles function within fascia. 2, 3, reach up, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, and 10. All right, back to the foam roller. We're going to use it more as a target. So this foam roller is probably about 2.5 feet. Most normal foam rollers are 3 feet. Then you can always have a little 1-footer, but what we want is your feet to be comfortable wide, so not overly wide. And from right there, we just want to do a little frog squat. Let the knees kind of float out to the side, hands just as low as the foam roller. So you have to go all the way to the ground. 4, 5, we got 10 of these. Let the knees float out. 6, 7, 8, 2 more. 9, chest up, and 10, okay? Now, standing, feet can be a little bit externally rotated, so they're no longer squared up. Knees are a little bit out to the side. We're gonna rotate to the right, through the hips, and then we're gonna reach up and back with the right hand. 3, first thing to move is going to be the hip. 4, reaching up with the hand. 5, 6, now we're working the spiral line. 7, 8, 9, and 10, and good. So we maintain the space between the ribs and the hips. Feet are ever so slightly rotated out. Rotate the right hip to the left. Left arm up and rotate away. 2, make sure that arm is up, not out. We want it up. 3, 4, 5, 6, open the chest, open the belly. 7, 8, 9, and 10, and good. All right. Let's keep the feet a little bit turned out, not much. That opens the hips up, right? So it's going to be easier to move through the hips. We're just going to push the hips back, put the hands onto the knees, and then drop the hands to the ground. So the knees only bend a little bit. Push the hips back. From right there, working that hip hinge. So right here, we no longer bend the knees. Now, you might be more comfortable hinging just to the height of the foam roller. This is a problem because some of that flexion, you think you're hinging, but you're spinal flexing, right? So we want to work that hinge. That is the key to success. So I always like to start it with hands on knees and eyes up. It's almost impossible to screw that up, okay? Eyes up, butt to the back, hands released. Keep your upper body in one position. Toes on the ground. And good. All right, shoot me an email, Erin at ECFIT Strength. I have 2 live strength sessions for my premium group this week. I'm inviting the entire YouTube community. A lot of you guys just do the YouTube on Mondays. If you want to join me, all you have to do is email me, Erin at ECFIT Strength. I hope you guys have an amazing day today. Thanks for starting yours with me. And I will see you, hopefully, if you're not already a premium member, I will see you on Thursday. Peace.